Okay, we're live. Hello all, hello world. Hopefully everyone's doing alright today. This is day 121 of studying compilers every day until I land a compiler role. I know this stream's a little bit late, but that's just kinda how the cookie crumbles. I've pretty much been like out the entire day, so it's been it's been a little bit inconvenient at least. Last time, I think we finished liveness analysis, which was surprisingly quick. It was kind of just some pseudocode and a little bit of like miscellaneous code gen. This time, I'm gonna scaffold out some future work, and also a really quick announcement. I get my wisdom teeth pulled tomorrow, so it would be a little bit troll for me to stream tomorrow. I feel like I would like to avoid hindering my recovery as much as possible, and that seems like it would be a little bit painful to talk for a prolonged period. So I will also probably be very tired and very much in pain because of that. So yeah, there's a very good chance there's no stream tomorrow. I'll make like another announcement. I might also extend it out a few other days, like a few more days, just to make sure the recovery process is doing all right. We'll have to see what happens though. I'll end up playing it a little bit more by ear. With that all being said, I think we can get straight into the stuff I wanted to do. Yeah. So, yeah, last time we finished liveness, and then we added like a couple of like CLI things just for like utility's sake. Right now, I think I'm gonna think a little bit more big picture about like the design of the backend at least. Or at least like skeleton it out a little bit more. Yeah, so we have liveness here. That's like one part of regalloc at least. I would like to have that as like some sort of a helper in our big regalloc pass here at least. So let's make like regalloc.h regalloc C++ or underscore maybe. I think that's correct, right? Surely that's a little bit more correct by the text. And then after that, what else do we want? I think we want just like code gen from there, but we can figure that out in a second. And then like codegen.h or something like that. Yeah. So I think that's kind of all the files we want at least scaffolded out here. Also, I'm gonna move this over here. We're just gonna go to like this planning thing. Let's see how much this has changed actually. This is about as correct as I thought it would be. I guess that's not really what we're looking for here. So I guess we can build this out a little bit more. Yeah, so we can build out like the future work pile. So what do we want here? I guess regalloc, we want codegen. I think that's the first order. And then we can throw in like some peephole stuff. And then some like scheduling stuff as well. We can kind of throw it in like that. Before both of these, there's actually like one thing I think we wanna... Do you want to finish regalloc first? I think there's one thing I want to clean up first. This is just like a small design decision on my end. So if we go back to I guess the test output, it's just very cluttered. There's a lot of slush there, and I would like to make it less awful. I also just hate the way all of this looks as an aside, so I would like to hopefully clean that up a little bit. Yeah. So yeah, what's a good example file for this? So that one, I guess any of these are a very good example. There's a lot of just like a lot of calling convention slush. And I would like to avoid that if at all possible. So It just like adds bloat. It makes a mess with everything else. What I'm thinking of doing as an alternative for this in the design is first we're gonna like get rid of all this calling convention generation stuff at this point. We're gonna move that to after Regialloc, so we don't have to like add like maybe push and like add maybe pop, because that all just like makes a really big mess, and I don't enjoy that at all. So we're gonna move that after. And then what we're gonna do is we're just gonna add like sort of attributes for registers, in some places at least. So like a return register, and then like parameter registers, and then we have like I'm not really sure where we would do this. This is really annoying, huh? Because we're kind of, yeah, all the functions are kind of separate. That really dampens plans a lot. Okay, we might have to change a couple things structurally beyond that actually. So let's write this out real quick. So this is like what ISL slash instruction or ISL instruction selection, or like lowering restructuring. So we want remove calling convention slush. We want to add attributes for param or arg or return registers, I guess. We can do that, and then something else I wanna think about. That kind of came into that thing that I was just talking about is I guess what's it called? I guess handling each function separately. Yeah, so we can do that maybe, and that will hopefully make things a little bit less awful at least. Or I guess like group by function. And that will, I think, make the attributes a little bit easier to work with, because then we have like sort of a fixed scope for everything. What's good, Ahmed? Do you live in Cali? No. When you're faced with new design decisions, how do you know you're making the right choice? Honestly, I don't know what the right choice is. When I was like first working on this, for instance, I thought it would be a good idea to just like generate virtual instructions here and like resolve them later. Now that I'm like thinking about it, I realize that was like a really bad decision, so I'm just going back on that decision. And like that happens a lot. Like I make a bad decision, or I think I make a correct decision, and then it turns out it's not, and then I have to like do something about it. So I guess I don't really know if I'm making the right choice. I kind of just make a choice and then figure it out from there. If it's the correct choice, then great. If it's not the correct choice, then that's fine. I will just rewrite stuff. But sitting there and mulling over is not going to get me closer to figuring out what the correct choice is. So most of the time, it's better to just like at least try to write something and then like see what the practical drawbacks of it are, and then working from there, I think. The nice part about like at least this project is that the iteration cycles are pretty fast, just because like I'm kind of just doing whatever on it. So there's not really much like red tape, so I can kind of just do whatever I want, and if something doesn't work, I can just go back in time pretty much. Yeah, you do just kind of like, unfortunately, you do just kind of need to like force your way through the problem. And like the more times you make decisions, the more you can think about why bad decisions were bad, why good decisions were good, and on average, you will make the correct decision on the first try more frequently than not. Something else that could also help is thinking about like drawbacks and benefits of each approach that you take. And I think that will help you make a more concrete decision sooner than later. What's good, Skills? Good to see ya. Yeah, it's a bit of a late stream. I kind of was just busy the whole day, and I still need to stream, so that's just kind of life, I guess. Regialloc, I think we want to coalesce copies, and then we want to interference graph. I'm not sure what order these were in. Actually, let's take a look. What was the book again? Oh, there it is. Nice. It was in the Sudoku here. Sorry for like full blending, y'all. Okay, so webs, this is like our equivalent of, or their equivalent of liveness analysis. We do the interference graph and then we coalesce until we can't coalesce anymore. So we want to generate the interference graph and then coalesce copies. And then what else is needed here? Compute spill costs. And then pruning. Prune graph, maybe, question mark? Assign registers. And then we want to spill. Yeah, okay. I think that's kind of a reasonable how for that. And then these three we can worry about later, but that's kind of the rest of the backend stuff that I want to get through at least. Is it better to spend time making your own mistakes or reading other people's mistakes? It doesn't matter. Just all that matters is there are mistakes and you can learn from them. I personally think it's slightly better to like make your own mistakes because then you will never forget them. But there is value to both at least. One of them is faster, one of them is, well, one of them's faster, one of them is more permanent, I guess. I just hack away at a problem until I get something that works. That's fair, yeah. Like if it works, it works. But also like, if it doesn't work, then like, I imagine you would go back and make the relevant changes. That's kind of just the design experience for better or for worse. And like something I've been like getting better at over time is just like not getting too attached to an idea I had. Even if I like invested a lot of time in it. Like I had to rewrite a decent chunk of my parser for this project just because like it was not scalable for doing like proper compound argument parsing. Or compound expression parsing. So like 1 + 2 + 3. Instead of splitting that across 2 lines, putting that on, I guess like 1 line at least. Yeah, so like half of my parser was not really scaled well for that, so I had to like do a lot of rewriting, but at the end of the day it came out better. And that is just also something that you get better with, you get better at with time at least. Yeah, that is just kind of life. Okay. What do we even do here? This stream is just kind of awkward because I don't really have enough time to like get a complete train of thought going, but I also just don't really have the time to like but like also I should probably do something with the time. So I don't know, I might just keep this a little bit of a shorter stream. I'm like low-key nervous about my wisdom teeth, so that'll be fun, I guess. Okay, here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna zap all of, I think we're gonna try to get this calling convention stuff cleaned up at least. Or maybe like grouping by function. We could probably get all 3 of these done. Realistically, we're probably gonna just get these 2 done, which is fine. We can just pick up later with that at least. Did you dye your hair? It matches? Yeah, it's been dyed for a while at least. Like at least probably like a year now, actually. Excuse to eat ice cream. That's very true, yeah. That will be nice, but I will probably just eat a lot of protein. I'll just consume a lot of protein shakes and like, yeah, just the average soft food diet. I feel like a baby again. Studying the kaleidoscope tutorial, is the format of your compiler similar? Not quite, but I've also done the kaleidoscope tutorial and that one matches roughly. This one has like some structural differences. They're a lot more substantial, most notably because I'm kind of rebuilding LLVM instead of relying on it. So that causes a lot of disparities. So yeah. Are you building a compiler? Yes, from C to x86-64. I'm a wisdom teeth out over the summer. I was terrified. I guess, yeah. I imagine it won't be as bad as I think it is. Just a lot of anticipation, at least, I feel like. Okay, let's just delete these. Those are empty files for now. They do not have anything. Let's restructure. I guess we could start from the top here, maybe. At the LIR level. Or actually no. Let's start here. So we want to go into instruction real quick. Let's delete this virtual thing. This is causing all of the problems in my life. Also unknown is like really stupid. I really shouldn't do that anyway. But that's probably fine to keep for now. We'll just make that cause problems later. I think this is a useful debugging tool at least. How far are you planning to go with the features? Not really sure. Just enough to like scaffold everything out at least. Yeah, so just like however much I need to implement everything I want at least. I'm not being like too stringent with it at least. Can you just look at the official code? Yeah, I've done a little bit of that. It's a little bit, the thing is there's just a lot of code and it's, some of it I feel like is not very practical to reproduce. So I try to avoid some of that at least. But yeah, I try to reproduce as much of it as possible. I should probably figure out what the hell I should do with fees as well. That's probably a later issue. Okay, let's look up all instances of virtual real quick. Okay, this doesn't exist anymore, so that's fine. Yeah, so we can do that. That's fine. Okay, cool. So that's good. Virtual register is fine. That we need to keep. Because that's, well, a variable that we have not mapped yet. Okay, we need to delete all of these visitors. Okay. Okay, now we just make a bunch of them. Let's get rid of this as well. Okay. Do you usually finish the goals you set for the stream? It takes a while at least. There's just like a lot of stuff to worry about, so usually I don't get them done. They're all very like exhaustive goals at least, but eventually I like slowly work through them, and that's just life, I guess. Okay, so we want to look in here now. We do a lot of stupid stuff here. Ooh, okay. Okay, we need to rework a lot of stuff here. Yeah, there's a lot of places that we need to undo virtual instructions, but that's fine. What's going on, Marpro? Good to see you. Consistency is amazing. Thank you. Do you think that learning Python is enough for someone who's new to the IT world, or is C more crucial? It's really hard to say. It depends on what you want to get into. If you want to get into more low-level stuff, I think C is important. If you're trying to like stay in like web dev land, or just like chase like the trendy stuff, I think Python is more than sufficient. Your favorite watch while you eat? Thank you. I think like, for what it's worth, I don't really know a lot about what I'm talking about, just to like completely qualify this. I'm like definitely learning as I go. I think that's kind of obvious just by the sheer quantity of bad design choices I've made. So, I mean, like, yeah. Okay. So, what do we do here? Okay. We want params regardless. So this is start function. We have a function. We should probably encode like the number of args in the visitor somewhere. Yeah, we should probably throw that like somewhere here. This is just a mess. Uint 64t num args. Yeah, we can do that. Okay, so instead of move args to virtual registers, we want like, this is a good idea, yes. We want to mark virtual registers as params. Yeah, we can do that. Params. And then we want to, I don't know, how do I handle the stack, the variables that are allocated to the stack at least, or the params rather, that get pushed to the stack? So like parameters 6+, they just turn into stack variables. So we need to figure out what to do with those preemptively. What we could do is we could just push those onto the stack. I think that's fine. So we can mark param registers or push to stack. Yeah, okay, we can do that. So we don't care about this, at least for now. We need to figure out a way to add attributes to registers. I'll figure that out in a bit, at least. There's a lot of refactoring work that needs to go into this. Let's extra to stack. 50% of CS people couldn't tell you what LLVM is. I think that makes sense, yeah. It's all just like, it's kind of just like the compiler nerds, to be honest, which, fair enough. Why did you color your hair purple? Purple is a good color. There's not really much else of a reason. Is it super to Google every question you have? I think it's helpful, but as long as you're like actively learning, it really doesn't matter. I think asking that question is kind of like indicative that you're thinking about it too much, to be honest. Like you kind of just gotta, at some point you kind of just gotta like go, you just gotta do it, I guess. Okay. So we have, okay, let's put this stuff in here instead, I think. Or no, we want that out here. We don't care about the extend. This is fine. It's not, well, I disagree. You will just have to deal with that. In 64-bit system, how big is a pointer? Well, it's, I don't think it's very well not very well defined. It depends on like the OS at least. Like x86 64 pointers are a complete mess if you look at like the virtual addressing. I think the address space is 64-bit, but like there's a lot of mess that happens with page tables at least that complicate the answer. Again, I could be wrong. It's been a second since I took my OS final. Okay, let me lock in for a second. I need to figure out what to do with this. We don't want to generate a move, but we want to mark dest at least. In some way. Resolve operand returns a operand star. that's really annoying. Okay. We might just make like a... I don't know, how do we even make an attribute here? Because what do we put the attributes on, at least? I could probably just like make another instruction, but then we just get back into the virtual problem, I guess. No, but this is different. This is different because we know those will have to be hinted, at least. Or those will have to be... We can just use that instruction as like generating hints during regeloc. So I don't think that should be a problem. I think this will be fine, honestly. So let's go back to... let's go back to LAR real quick. Or we could just add a to-do for now, honestly. So we have dest. I don't think we care about that anymore. Yeah, we don't care about that anymore. We don't care about this anymore, actually. Okay, so here we want to like mark param as, or mark Wait, this is stupid. Wait. These params are going to be generic value type, right? Right? How did I design these? Again, it's been a second. Well, let's actually just look at the code. Let's look at like... This is not helpful. Have like a params test? We do. Perfect. Yeah, okay. So they just get numbers, which is fine. I forgot how I generate them though. Are they just variables? They can't just be variables. They're not really SSA. Because they're not really assigned, I guess. So that doesn't really make sense. Okay, let's look at middle end again. Let's look at... Or no, it's in front end, right? The way we generate it. HR to MIR. Oh, it's just parameter. What the hell? So it's just a generic value type, I guess? That makes a lot of sense, I guess. Okay. So we resolve operand for that. Like, what does that vomit out, at least? So that's an operand. It's not even helpful though. It's not a variable, so we kind of just have to deal with that. What do we resolve it as right now, at least in the output, as an example? Or I guess it gets a number, right? What does resolve operand vomit out again? Operand type. Okay, it's here. Oh, we just make a register. Okay, yeah. Okay, that's fine then. Okay, so this is just a register. Mark register as param somehow. Okay, and then pushing the stack is fine. And then we want source size? No. It was arg. Actually, no. We're fine. No, wait, this is fine. This is fine. We can just keep those on the stack, I think. We can just assume that that's the same. We're just getting rid of like the virtual shit pile, I guess. Yeah, those will have to be a thing, at least. Okay, I'm gonna read chat for a second. Complex solutions, but often need simple solutions. Yeah, I mean, this is like the simplest thing that I can think of, to be honest. It's not like complexity for the sake of complexity, at least. What file tray are you using? I'm using Oil and Vim. I think it's the most in the spirit of Vim, so I quite like it. Compilers of front end, yes, that's the part that takes the code and turns it into like the optimizer language. Commenting as many days as possible until you join my Discord server. That you might be commenting for a while, because I fear YouTube eats up whatever links people put into the chat. So yeah, that might be a while, I fear. Okay. Caller save registers, we don't need to deal with this anymore. This will be handled in the future. Yeah, that's fine. Okay, next place, restoring caller save registers. I don't think we care about that right now. Regenerate prologue later now. What the fuck? Oh, stack variables. Oh. Okay, we might just need to make like a generic allocate. What am I doing here? What instruction is this? This is a... Oh, I see. We're like virtual allocating stack space. That's really stupid. We might just want to make another temporary instruction. And I know that sucks, but it is what it is. Yeah, we'll just... I think we can just comment. We definitely can get rid of this. And then we want to like... turn this into an allocate of something. Wait. Some explicit temporary allocate instruction. Yeah, I should have planned this a lot better. Oh well. Deallocate stack space, we should do the opposite. Or we could definitely... We can generate that later, actually. That falls into prologue. I don't particularly care about that. We don't need to restore registers anymore. Oh, here we need to mark something. Mark return register. That is not what I wanted to hit. I hit Q by accident. This is LAR trees, gen trees. This is fine. I might just have to rewrite a lot of this because it is just such a mess. Yeah, so we want to do that at least. So we want to mark the return register somehow. How are you keeping track of all this in your head? I'm writing to-dos. So I'm not keeping track of this in my head. And if I forget one, then everything breaks and it's like really funny. Okay. We want to figure out what to do with call. I think we wanted to change something here. Okay, so we want to steal that, sort of. Arg registers or push. Arg extra args to stack. Okay, this is a pop. Mark param registers or I guess we do we want to pop these preemptively? You can mark param registers or okay, let's go down again so I can compare against what I wrote. Mark params on stack. Maybe we could do that. It's already in the stack. It's already in the stack frame though, right? Or we haven't generated the stack frame. We've just gone somewhere. We could probably just pop them, to be honest. Maybe do this without popping, question mark? This is just a simplification for my sanity. Or I guess if we're getting to that point though, we're kind of running short on registers. Okay. I guess we can just respill them worst case, I think. I don't know. We should probably just mark the stack space as parameter. Right? I don't know. I'm like losing my mind slowly. Yeah, let's just leave it at that for now. What destroyer on? I'm on Arch running Hyperland. You input the tokens for source code. No, that is way before in the front end. Editing one but not the other. I am editing both at the same time, actually. So if I go like back to where I was, okay. So that's, I think that should build at least. Hopefully this builds. If this doesn't build, then I just forgot to delete something. How does it go that far? There's a lot of stuff that happens. There's like optimization, there's like generating control flow graph, destroying the control flow graph, making a bunch of stack variables, destroying a bunch of stack variables, making a bunch of stack variables again, so on and so forth. There's just like a lot of like translation that happens pretty much. A lot of intermediate translation is the short answer. Used to be on Windows? Yeah. I'm at home right now, so I don't have my PC. So I am on my laptop for now. Unfortunately, that means I am, or for better or for worse, that means I am on both a laptop and on Linux. So, yeah. Let's run this on test, regression, in, well, let's give it square. Oh, that's actually way cleaner. Okay. That makes me happy. Okay, so let's give it like scope maybe. What does this look like? This looks very empty now, now that we don't do a lot of calling convention stuff. Yeah. Yeah, that's really funny actually. We should, okay, I need to fix the way it handles return at least. I should avoid the move altogether. That's fine. Is this fine? Yeah, we should. Mark arg registers. And then those can go into the specific slots. Okay. Here we should like, we can get rid of that. Mark move, or mark return register to do. Yeah, this is all just gonna like get really chopped up, but it is what it is, I guess. I need to figure out what to do with allocate here. You know, it's really funny that I mentioned this here, because I think I do something like that here at least, or I want to do something like that here. We could make like a stack variable sort of addressing mode as well. But that sounds awful, so I don't want to do that. At least. Hey man, I love your stuff. Good luck with the compiler rule. Thank you. Thanks for stopping by. If I was building a compiler, I wouldn't know where to start. Honestly, if I were to start, I would go in the reverse order. I'd start with the back end and then go back to the front end. I thought going front end to back end would be easier because I could do things incrementally, but it turns out it's just way harder to test things. So I would try to do it the other way, if at all humanly possible. And the nice thing about that is then you get like little intermediate testing steps. Okay, let's rebuild this real quick. I'm kind of just hijacking this branch, to be honest. Okay. So we just mark something, we multiply, we move into return. We're not supposed to move to return. We're not supposed to move to return. Did I forget to save? Wait. Oh, yeah. We need to... Yeah, we need to also mark the return. Or not return. No, this was fine, actually. This is fine. Actually, no. We should do that here. We need to update the return thing here. Like that. Let's just do that, I guess. We just have a lot of to-dos. Locking to fog. Yeah, I mean, the point is like the backend, because like then you can at least like check correctness in some way with like code that you can like literally run. Whereas this is all like, it has all been hand wavy up to this point. I've still not like generated something that I can actually run up to this point. So it's really awkward. Okay, this code is really funny right now because we kind of just neutered it all, but that's to be expected. How much do you think streaming played a role in being consistent? A very large role. Let's commit real quick. Nuke the hell out of virtual stuff. Okay. But yeah, I think if I wasn't streaming, I would probably have like a couple of like 10-hour bursts of energy, but not enough to like, I guess, make this code base into something real. Okay. What am I doing? Let's go back to LIR. Let's clean up our instructions, or our operands actually. We want a way to mark things. We should probably add like a list of attribute or something in some way. I don't really know how to generate attributes very well here. I guess we could stick them in under like operand maybe, or we could make like a separate attribute class maybe. If it makes me feel like streaming every goal I have, yeah. I mean, go for it. Like it's not like I'm the first person to do this, so you very much can as well. It really helps having the whole internet hold you accountable. Okay, virtual register. I think we could stick an attribute list here maybe, or like an attribute, like attribute putter maybe, or like std unique putter to like attribute type. Yeah, we can do like that maybe, and then we can do something with that. Any tampering with Rust? Yes, I really enjoy Rust. It feels a lot nicer to write than C++. Okay, let's see, what do I do here? Does this even make sense? Yeah, we should do it like this, I think. Let's make a separate attribute class. Let's just make the header for now. I lied. Let's make both for now. Yeah, okay. So let's pragma once. And we can split that. Let's copy some header stuff from here real quick. Yeah. This is like very scuffed the way I'm working in this, but it is what it is. This will be fine. Oh, Jesus. Okay, let's do that real quick. We can make that. Here now we can include attribute. Okay, so we have class attribute. We're actually... Okay, so we have attribute, and then the 3 types of attributes we have is like... Or we could just mark it as like must be in. Or something like that. Yeah, actually, that might be smart. And then we can like spill things as necessary. Yeah, okay, let's do that instead. Cause like that's kind of just the same thing. I should probably add a size to virtual register as well, but I don't know. Thinking of skipping C++ straight altogether after learning C and going straight to Rust. I personally think you should learn C++ first, because I kind of did what you were thinking of. Like 2 years ago, I had like a big project that was supposed to be in Rust. My C++ was pretty weak, but I went straight into it. A lot of the design decisions you will struggle to understand. A lot of the design decisions in Rust you will struggle to understand if you haven't worked a lot with C++. That's just my take though, so you're still free to like do whatever. Can you hear the background music? What do you mean? Like, oh, I see. Oh yes, it's playing through Spotify, so I can very much hear it. Okay, let's do register nom match, I guess. I guess like, what do we call it? Shadow, maybe? It's not really shadowing. What do I call this actually? I guess like, this is the register that we want. It's not like an attribute, but it's the one that we want regalloc to auto map it to. Let's call it match, I guess. We can just do that, I guess. We can give it a name and then we can give it like reg again. Or actually, wait, no. We already have reg. Oh wait, no. We want the physical here because up here we want it to be virtual, I think. I think that's how I'm reading it, at least, the way I've implemented it. Unless virtual is kind of the wrapper around it, I don't know. Now, what is the best way to do this? A lot of my code relies on it being like this, at least. I could probably refactor it in the future. Is there a reason for me to do it like this? There's a lot of bugs that will happen if I just reuse that. Okay, we're gonna reuse it. Surely it's fine. Okay, we're just gonna reuse that and be really risky with this. But we just need to change the constructor. Yeah, like that. Let's do that, and then we can also do constructor without that even. And that's like that should be a sane way to do it, I hope. Paging was the hardest thing for me to understand. I guess that's fair, yeah. Paging is hard. Paging is complex. There's a lot of stuff. Okay, let's take a step back. Let's re-implement some of this real quick. Let's go here. Let's keep that up there. Let's. This is fine, I think. That's fine. I think that's fine. Nice. Okay, we got a lot of boilerplate to scroll through. Don't worry about it. Okay, so we have that. We have get reg num. That's fine. So we have 2 constructors to make now. So we want name, and then we want register num reg, I guess. We can do that. This gets reg. Okay. I should probably rename virtual to like unallocated or something like that. Or I guess virtual is probably fine, but also like it'd be interesting to think about that way. What is the register toString? That's fine. If it's a virtual register, we should call it by name anyway. Is it workflow editing one file and referencing the other? Yes. I'm just using a simple split. There's not really anything sophisticated about it. That's also why I'm like kind of confused whenever people ask about my Vim workflow, because like it's kind of just like basic Vim functionality. There's literally nothing remotely unique about it. So that's, I don't know, that's just like my thought at least. Okay. What the hell am I doing here? So I'm gonna make a virtual register like that. And then we should make one more thing here. Yeah, this is annoying. Because now I have 2 different types of pointers for it. It would have been smart for me to just like add a What am I doing here? So this is fine. This constructor is fine. And then this one I want to figure out what to do with. Or I guess we want to figure out how to handle the overlap at least. Should they share a name? Yeah, this doesn't really make a lot of sense to me. Does the file update as you change it? They're just sharing the same. They're literally the same buffer. That's all. It's just like it is just literally basic Vim functionality. Yeah, we can't have overlap here. Yeah, so This is really annoying. I can't think of a great way to implement this, at least. The shadowed register, at least. Okay. What am I doing here? Maybe I should just implement it as an attribute instead, huh? Okay. It's a lot of thinking. Yeah, this is not as simple as I thought it would be. Like it would make sense to implement it like this, but we might just have to like do it. We might just have to change the way operand manager is implemented, which is like fine, but it's just like a little annoying at least to think about. What does get register do? It makes a, I guess, register. I'm trying to like handle registers in a singleton way, I guess. So that's why this is like confusing as hell. The problem is I don't think virtual registers are really singletonable, so that makes a whole degree of pain here that I need to deal with. And I'm sharing one operand manager for like the entire program at least. We should probably just use a decorator on this, to be honest. And I hate that, but I kind of think I need to do that. Yeah. Right? Do I need to do that? I think that's like the least awful way to handle it, at least, but I guess I would have to run into this problem regardless. So my concern is if I have a name collision between two registers, and one of them is marked as like a return register, for instance, or like one of them is marked as having to be in RAX, for instance. And then the other one is just not a return register. They would share the same, I guess, thing. Yeah, it inserts a new register if it doesn't exist yet. Okay. Well, I think I want the constructor regardless. We should handle these as separate registers, I think. Okay. We're gonna make a mess, I think. We have virtual registers, and then we should map it from string and register num, I think. A pair of those. Like that. Okay, it really doesn't like that, actually. Let's be copy constructible. Do I need to do that? That's not it. Okay. Okay. Why doesn't this work? Okay. It's just... Okay. This is one of the cases where I will use ChatGPT. That's not a problem. Like, that is a problem, but not the foremost problem. We're just gonna yank like that. Let's see what this vomits out. Oh. Wait, what? That's not a thing? That's not a thing? Oh, okay. Okay, that makes sense. That unfortunately makes sense. Okay. What the hell do we do about this then? We could just avoid the singleton for this and just call it a day, to be honest. Like, there's only going to be like so many of these. I don't think it's that bad to just make a vector of them. Okay, we're going to do this. Do it name and then do that. Yeah, we're just gonna... Okay, we're gonna... Let's keep that real quick. Let's yank that. Let's undo this mess that I made. Okay, we can do that. Let's paste this back here. Why specifically one of these cases? Well, because I literally do not know what to do with it. So I think that's an instance where I can at least learn from it. And I think that's kind of the whole spirit of using generative AI to learn. How do we generalize? What do we do with this at least? Do I just make a vector for the special cases? But then that feels wrong. So I should probably just like add a wrapper. I should add just like a decorator, to be honest. Yeah, let's just do this. Let's undo the stuff we did in here. We don't need this anymore. Okay, we have no changes there. What did I change up here? Okay, we have that. Let's make like an attribute wrapper or something. Yeah, we definitely needed to be like, we needed to be a decorator, I think. Yeah, we have to do it like this, I think, if I want it to be remotely workable with my current format. Let's go, Satya. Good to see you. Welcome to the stream. I don't think this needs to change anything here, at least. Actually, so this is a register. Let's keep that all here real quick. We can do that maybe. We're getting into some really awful land. This is not a good design idea. Let's just make it mapped register. I guess like This is awful. This is getting really sloppy. We can do that. Register num mapped or 2, and then we want a from. So we want virtual register star from, and then register 2. That seems reasonable. Just want to say nice work, and you now inspire me to follow your footsteps. Thank you. That means a lot to me. Okay, let's make like get register maybe, or we want to override to a string. Do we want get name still? Also, this is a register, I think, right? Yeah, I guess this makes sense. This sort of mapping is like kind of ugly, but I think it's kind of inevitable. We just have to like wrap it around like that. And then I think these we can store, I think. I don't know. This feels very sketchy to me. We can do that, I think. I don't really know what else this needs, at least. This probably needs toString. I think we should probably keep get name. This is a virtual register. This is still like a virtual register, but we have like an attribute around it, I guess. Yeah. Okay. What do I do from here at least? What is the intended use of this, I guess? That will probably clean it up for me. I guess we're kind of just describing a fee, though, is the thing. That's the interesting thing here. So like that doesn't really make sense why I'm even making this. I should probably just throw it into a fee and call it a day. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. This is giving me a lot of headache. We might just have to like make fee instructions. So I'm recording a macro. I don't know why. I should probably just throw in fees, to be honest. Yeah, and then Regala can generate everything else as we go. Let's ask ChatGPT for a better name for a fee, actually. I have fee instructions in my IR. I want to reuse that. For regalloc, for non-fee uses, what should I rename fee to? What the okay. We can do it like this, maybe. Pi. Coalesce, okay. Alias. I guess that makes sense. We could call it like that, maybe. I need it as a hard constraint. Must coalesce. Okay. Well, fuck. Can I reuse this for my fee instruction? Yeah, okay, sure. So we should get rid of that. We should do like must coalesce, I guess. We can make a bunch of those, actually. That sounds a lot less awful than what I'm doing here. Let's go, Sir Caitlin. First time catching a stream. I wanted to mention how inspiring you are. Thank you. Yeah, that also does mean a lot to me. Welcome to one of the live streams, I guess. I'm not sure my pile is a great introduction to low-level land because I'm literally building the ship as I fly it, but hopefully get some value out of it at least. Okay, we're gonna make a mess. We're just gonna accept the mess that we're making. Let's delete fee. Or we should just repurpose this in some way. Alright, I just did the same thing twice. Instruction, coalesce, maybe. Actually, wait. I have an idea. Wait, where am I? Oh, that's not what I want. Wait. We're just gonna ignore all of that real quick. Okay. Don't worry about what you just saw there. Casual leaking everything. What tips would you recommend for someone who's learning to program? Just get your feet wet and just start writing code, I guess. That's definitely the best way to get started with it, at least. Don't start with C++. Yeah, Python is my recommendation. We're done regalloc to coalesce moves. I guess that makes sense, but little bits and pieces will always be useful to learn. Yeah, I think that makes sense. Yeah. You'll probably pick up a couple of things here and there, just from the slush pile that I have. But yeah, hopefully some of it's valuable at least. Switching to Linux from Windows, not full time. Linux is still just my laptop, but eventually I plan on doing that once I stop being a Valorant fiend, I guess. Okay, what am I not understanding here? Both cases, if you can't coalesce, happens. So move, it just stays. Oh, I guess that makes sense. Okay. Okay, let's just make like a, let's just rename it to like coalesce maybe. Yeah, so we want like operand. We can do that, I guess. So source and then destination. I guess that makes sense. I know this looks a lot like the same thing, but I promise it's meaningfully different. Because this we kind of can like represent more explicitly than like a fee, at least. Okay. We could also like generate this in the previous block as well, which is interesting to think about. But I don't know. Well, this sure. Actually, let's ask another question to ChatGPT. How do I turn a fee from a higher IR to into coalesces? Oh, I guess that makes sense. Okay. But it doesn't make sense to put it on the edge. I don't know. I'm like getting lost in all of this slush. Okay. Are we register allocating? Yeah. Yeah, we're cleaning up a lot of mess at least. This goes into like SSA destruction almost. Yeah, this is just stuff I straight up don't understand. Or I'm at a point where I don't understand what's happening at least. Okay. Okay, so we should get rid of this mapped registered garbage, I think. I could just rename it to like coalesce, and I think we will be fine. Is this just exiting SSA? Sort of. So there's two problems here. The first one is in regalloc, I had a bunch of like preamble stuff I generated just for like calling convention. I took that out. I'm gonna generate that later. But then I still need to preserve some information about which registers are like the return register, or like, I guess which virtual registers are like the return register, or like the params, or like function args, or like where the return value is now going into. Yeah, so I need to figure out how to encode that information. And the thing that I've been thinking about for this whole time is to just reuse like my existing quote-unquote fee instruction. The problem with that is it's just awful. It just feels terrible to use. It's like it's not, it doesn't make sense for this. I can't encode like edges properly. So I guess like this is partially SSA destruction and partially just figuring out like how to represent this sort of coalescing information, at least. Go register allocator does that. Let's look at it actually. Linear scan, okay, cool. Maybe I should just implement linear scan and stop bonking my head over a wall. Which distro did you use? I'm using Hyperland, or Arch and Hyperland in it. So I should probably figure out how to split critical edges at some point anyway. Like, fuck, this is a mess. Pieces constraint. Yes. That kind of idea, at least. I'm trying to think if it's better to just like insert copies everywhere and call it a day and just let regalloc figure out what to do with the copies, or if I should like make an explicit thing for it, or explicit instruction. I should just insert moves. What am I doing? This is so stupid. I should just insert copies. Oh my god. This is so troll. I should probably just split critical edges first and then do that. I remember a critical edge exists. I forget what it is. Okay. Predecessor has multiple successors, and the successor has multiple predecessors. Okay, so like this edge. So we should split that, presumably. I guess that makes sense. Dominance property means the actually will be critical. Wait, that's really funny. Wait, that's so funny. Wait, I might do that. But it's the other thing is like after instruction selection, it's not SSA. So like I pick instructions, I generate some instructions in a way that are not SSA, so that kind of ruins all of the fun. And by some instructions, I mean divide. I saw an SSA, I do it on an SSA error. The output isn't SSA, at least. Let's go back here real quick. Let's look at Reddit as well. Is this the same page? This is the same page. Okay. Huzzah. Yeah, we're... Grr. I don't know, it just feels like it's not worth the trouble is the thing. Or I guess I don't know. This is stupid. Conventional SSA. This is a mess. Ugh. I should probably just implement this at some point. So I guess I'll put that in like my to-do list. So this we've done. We need to figure out what the hell to do with that. We need what's it called again? Split critical edges? Was that the term? Yeah. Split critical edges. Oh my god. I'm getting lost in everything here. I feel like I'm thinking about it too much. Like, this makes enough sense to me. Remove that, and then we need to make conventional. Yeah. Let's go here. Oh. Oh. Yeah. Fucking hell. Yeah. There's so much to learn here though. I kind of want to poke at this a little bit more. We can just blame the division instruction. That thing is like ruining my life. Gonna craft for a physics exam. Okay, fair enough, yeah. Take care, man. Good luck. Which degree are you pursuing currently? I'm pursuing a computer science degree right now. Yes, in CSE, we just have like a computer science degree that's distinct from computer engineering. Oh, this is so doomed. Okay, I probably want to implement those regardless, but I don't think that's particularly what I care about right now. I should probably just do linear scan, honestly. Is this Hyperland? Yes. Okay, so what the hell do we need to change here? We want to rewrite fee to not be a fee. We should just destroy SSA. We should just do SSA destruction in this phase. Yeah, we can SSA based register allocation. Okay, this is interesting. Okay, I see. Perfect elimination order. Huh, okay. That could be interesting. Wow, okay. I will probably leave this in my back pocket. I think I will just destroy SSA before and call it a day, honestly. I think it's just such a mess to preserve SSA semantics, at least. After like re-linearizing the control flow graph, at least. Yeah. I feel like there's just so much headache that I don't want to deal with. Okay. So what do I do with this then? Say destruction. I have the big book, I know, but this is the book, I guess. Great. Okay. Oh. Okay, we can make a billion copies for now, and then we can coalesce them somehow. We can just coalesce them later and call it a day. I don't particularly care about speed for now. Correctness is the biggest concern I have. Ooh, wait. Oh, huzzah, okay. We can read this. Splitting every critical edge. Oh wait, I can. Okay, we're just gonna open up the book. 1 second. Let's just run. Let's. This one. Okay, this is actually just the SSA destruction thing. Okay. Okay. This is construction. We don't care about that. We did that already. Destruction. Okay. Sorry about how much of a mess on the screen I'm making. Alright, feed instructions. That's kind of what we're doing. Mass governed in 10 lines of Python and you're writing compiler with spec? Thank you. We can always, I guess, make progress in learning. That's just kind of the coding experience. Okay, so we want to generate conventional SSA, it looks like. So we want to just split critical edges, I guess. Reach basic block, incoming edges, several outgoing edges, What is PC? Okay, this is just like the conventional SSA construction. That's fine. So we want to do that. Sequentialize the parallel copies. Replace parallel copies. That doesn't help me. This does not help me at all. So we've made it conventional now. What do we do from there? So we just delete fees, is what I'm seeing here. Pressure untransferred SSA code is conventional, its destruction is straightforward. Each fee function should have syntactically identical names. Yeah, okay. That makes sense. And then we can coalesce. That makes sense. We have a fee web. Each fee web is free from interferences. That makes sense. Something union find. Okay. Yeah, okay. That makes sense. So where's the part where we like delete the fees? I'm not understanding that, at least. That's what's confusing me. So we split the... Yeah. And not permit the splitting of an edge. What? Yeah, so we coalesce anyway, so that's fine. At least. Copy insertion slow, I don't care. Code both with non-splittable edges and... But when is an edge not splittable? Oh, I see. We replace them with simple copies. Okay. Oh, we just literally replace... Okay. That's nice. Okay, we should be able to just coalesce them in some way later. Okay, I see what's happening now. That makes enough sense. Okay. Alright, this is awful. We should make fees, and then... No, we can't... yeah. Okay. We should just make conventional SSA, and then we can figure out what to do from that point forward, I think. Once it's conventional SSA, we should be able to just straight up replace them, right? Yeah. Well, what am I reading? Can't read that. Okay. Alright, let's just like add some more info here. Middle and passes. We want to do that. We can do that. Okay. So we want to replace fee with just copies, I think. We can do that. That seems reasonable. And then I think we don't deal with attributes at all. We just stick moves everywhere. Yeah. So this means we're gonna have to like undo a decent amount of the work of today, but that's fine. I think this was pretty important stuff to think about, at least. I think I'm gonna call the stream here today then. I do kind of just want to chill for tonight, so I think that will be what I end up doing. Thank you all so much for showing up today. As a reminder, I'm not streaming tomorrow. My wisdom teeth are getting pulled. It'd be very ill-advised for me to spend 1 to 2 hours just like yapping, so I will not do that. If you haven't already, make sure you like the stream and sub to the channel. It helps out a lot with the algorithm, and it gets my content out to more of you, and that is, I guess, very preferable. Aside from that, join the Discord. The link's in the description. And also feel free to add me on LinkedIn and GitHub. Those are also in the description. Yep, appreciate the well wishes, y'all. Take care, y'all. Take it easy, and have a wonderful rest of your day wherever you are.